Hi there, welcome to the Lad Mix Farm channel. It's Arthur here. Now I want to tell you actually about the 5 most profitable animal farming ideas that you can go for, and then you can be able to relate and see whether you'd want to do crop or whether you'd want to do animal. Animal production, first of all, I would tell you that is much easier to do generally than crop, because the kind of manpower you would need is way lower compared if you're going to do crop. If you're going to look, for instance, after 1,000 hens, you just need 1 or 2 people. Okay, even if it's 1,000 or 500 goats, you need like 2 or 3 people. But if you're going to plant and you're going to do 2 acres, 10 acres, 15 acres as a commercial farmer, you can imagine the kind of labor you're going to need. Even if you're going to use mechanization, still when you're harvesting, when you're packaging and so forth, it involves quite a number of people, more than you would want to use when it comes to animal farming. So the first highly profitable animal farming idea I can tell you is local poultry production. For me, I vote for local poultry production, reason being that the demand is very high. People like eating this local chicken, our traditional chicken. It's very delicious and you cannot fail. You cannot see that somebody failed to sell. Look, wherever they are, whether they're in the village, whether they're in the city, whether they're in this country or within East Africa, local chicken moves very fast. First of all, the chicken itself you'll sell it more money than any other hen. Let's say it's a broiler, a layer, or a croiler. Their eggs, once you go into local egg production alone, you'll still buy it quite expensively. If a tray of the other hybrid, layers and so forth goes for 12,000, for local chicken you'll find yourself selling it at 20,000. The demand is also so high. But most importantly, it's because when you have local chicken, you do not have to think of spending money to buy a chick and start afresh, just like they do the layers and the broilers. For it, once you have the cock and it's mating with these other female hens, then you're just the only thing you can do is make sure that you hatch those eggs, whether using an incubator or using the natural approach where the hens can sleep on them and be able to hatch them. You'll find yourself replenishing the numbers without spending again. Now, there has been this myth that local chicken take long to grow, which is wrong. If you visit and you inquire and do research around this, it actually also takes a local hen from egg to laying the first egg 4.5 months, which is also the same time that a layer takes from an egg to the point of laying the first egg. It also takes 4.5 months. So you can see it's all about the feeds and how you look after these hens. If you want your local hen to give you returns quickly, you have to confine them just like you do the other ones. When you leave it to fend for itself looking for food, that's when you're going to find yourself having hens that are delaying to grow, because it uses a lot of energy. First of all, also hunting for this food. But if it's indoor and you're feeding it, giving it the right volumes, the combinations, just like you do any other broiler or layer hens, then you'll have wonders. You'll do wonders with the local hen. So I highly encourage you to look at the local poultry production, and then you'll not regret it. The second highly productive and highly earning venture is rabbit farming. Rabbit farming is relatively new. It has been around, but people have been doing it as a subsistence activity. Children, everybody grows up when they have had the experience of having a rabbit or 2, and therefore people just enjoy it. But the meat is on high demand. There are farmers out there that are looking for people who are willing to start rabbit farming. They are willing to come and purchase your product from wherever you are. If, for instance, this farmer who was interested in partnering with people who want to do rabbit production is in central Uganda. But even if you are at the border of Uganda and southern Sudan, the person will come there and fetch it at his own fee. Even if you are at the Congo border, in the southwestern, in Kasese, so forth, the person will be able to come and procure and take these rabbits from you. Only that, for you to enter into partnership with him, you have to make sure that you buy the breed from him, because he wants to make sure that he sells you the breed that is sure that is free from disease and can multiply very fast. He's also into the process of actually getting superior breeds that you can be able to use on your farm. It's quite costly setting up. First of all, the structure is, if they're going to be indoor, it's expensive. initially to set up the structure, their housing units and so forth. And you, of course, you have to plan for the pastures and so forth. But in terms of returns, it actually gives birth 6 times in a year. You know, it can also do every month, but that's disorganizing and can be quite a little bit stressing to the mother rabbit. So the idea is to always leave it, once it gives birth, you leave it for the whole month for it to nurse its young ones. And therefore, 2 months before you allow it to conceive again. So if you calculate, you'll find yourself have a rabbit giving birth 6 times in a year. And depending on the numbers that you have and what you've decided to be able to stock will determine how much money you can make. Also, you can decide to add value to it. There are those who are interested in meat of rabbit. So the demand has also grown so high, even abroad. This person, I think, wants to be able to export it in the Middle East and so forth. So if you're out there and you're passionate about rabbit farming, it's a very lucrative venture to go into. The third one is sheep production. Sheep production is so good. By the way, you see sheep in the communities and you wonder where these sheep go. They don't multiply as such, but somehow people are eating them. Only that they'll not tell you that they're selling you sheep meat, mutton, when you go to some of these butchers and so forth. But now there's another craze for sheep, for those people who can be able to stock them and grow them in large numbers. They are very much sought after internationally. There are people that normally reach out to us telling us if we can be able to start sheep production. The demand is there, both as live animals to be taken to the Middle East, also as mutton. And remember, a sheep grows very fast. There are even superior breeds like the Dopa sheep. I think it's gotten from South Africa. And when you're buying them, they are not as expensive, but you can also get your local sheep and start with those. Then you get a Dopa male, then start crossbreeding, and then you have these superior breeds that actually grow very fast. So sheep is something I would actually recommend highly for you to go and start. The fourth one is goat production. I've always talked about goats. The demand is quite high. You cannot meet it. You'll only have a challenge of meeting demand, but you will not fail to get where to place your goats. And I've told you there are different types of goat breeds. We have the Savannah, we have the Kalahari, we have the Boer. If you can and you start with the hybrids, their conversion rate of pasture is so high. I told you between 250 to 500, depending on the blood percentage it has. So it grows very fast. In 6 to 8 months, you are able to sell it off and get your income and then continue. So the more stock you have, the more money you get. But you can also decide to raise goats as a breeder, to be able to sell these goats that you're getting as offsprings to people who want to start their farms. And as a breeder, the price really goes so high, especially as you continue improving on the bloodline of those particular goats. You will not go wrong, and the demand is so immense compared to these other meat products like beef. So please focus so much on them and you'll not go wrong. Lastly is to go into cows for dairy production. If you go into cows for dairy production, also you find yourself making a lot of money. First of all, even if you are to have these cows and you want to sell them off to farmers that would want to start farms for cow production, milk production, it's very expensive to buy a Frisian cow. I think they go for around 2, 3, even 4, 5 million shillings a single cow. So if you specialize in that, you're going to make a lot of money. Then the other one, if you decide to go for massive production of milk, the demand is huge, as you know. You'll be able to sell your milk, but it would even make more sense if you're ready to add value to your own milk. Then you go the last mile and eliminate the middleman, because when you take to the dairy, then that means another intermediary who now sells to the final consumer. But if you decide that you're going to do, for instance, yogurt, there are people that are training people how to do yogurt. I'll be, I think, reaching out to them and also doing some of these interviews to be able to enable you get some of this information. You can do yogurt, you can do ice cream. Now there's another craze that has come in. You can convert your milk into alcohol. This is something that you can be able to store even if you have it for 8, 10, 15 years. These people that are going to train you to do the alcohol, milky alcohol, it's something that looks like a marula, resembles Bailey's. For those of you who take alcohol, it isn't that. All that is made from milk. And they're going to train you. You can learn to do production of that kind of alcohol. And you can imagine a liter if a bottle goes for around 30, 40, 50,000 of that, and maybe it's around I think 500 mils and so forth. So imagine the money you can make by adding value to your milk into a certain blend of alcohol. And these are products that turn out to be high value. They take a longer shelf life, and you find yourself being the source of the raw materials. Yogurt is sourced everywhere, all the time people are eating it. Ice cream, and then you can be able to reach out to different points that can be able to take your products and be able to sell it off. But remember, it is way, way more expensive than if you had sold milk as plain milk. So these are the 5 most lucrative or profitable animal farming ideas that I'm sharing with you. Feel free to do more research around them and see how really they turn out to be very good ideas. So thank you so much. If you're new to this channel, if you find this information helpful, please let us know. By subscribing, you let us know that you're appreciating the information we are sharing and you can try it out. But give us your comments. We are willing to respond to them, and also learning from you depending on the feedback we receive. There we shall be able to journey together. Thank you.